We are going with the prologue for a game, a visual novel type game that I've been looking into for quite a while, and I wishlisted and put that in my gallery before the episodes were even out. And then at some point, I noticed that the episodes were already out, and I was like, "Oh, I missed everything." And it is Tiny Bunny. New game. This should be more horror. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery, twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days, and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves there was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the winds couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of the light and shadow, just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still. Oh my god, I see a raccoon, what the fuck? Mom. Hey, put away your book. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. Okay, so this has point and click elements, I guess. Hide. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. Got it. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyways. Olya had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic, she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials. You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Custio Odyssey. Custio Odyssey, sorry. I love that show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is. Do not talk to me about the bottom of the ocean, boy, what the fuck. Or how cold the Black Forest is at night. I would rather go into a Black Forest at night than to the bottom of the ocean. I won't lie with you. The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showed me with the cold glare from her green eyes. What did I just say? I get it. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this carved on the other side of the table? Karina. Ha! That's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Should I remind her about it? No, she's been in a bit of a bad mood lately. I imagined her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder Was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? I imagined my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed, where Olya sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice. Taiga is a special place, little girl. It's watching you closely, sniffing you out, trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble, but if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. Okay. Okay. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket. And she called it her cute funeral box. Oh man, oh no, I just got attached to the babushka. We know. It waited for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. Oh no. The house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only all of the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with grey faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Oya was done with her cookies and was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze towards the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. A pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass. Oh yeah, look, it's a fox. Where? It looked almost like those optical illusions thingies they put on the back of students' notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little and look under a certain angle. Not outside, on the window. Look, there's the nose, and here's... Hey, eat up! Yes, just a moment. I don't see anything. Hurry up, there's not much left. Ah! There it is! But it still doesn't look like one. And I'm telling you, it does. Nuh-uh! It does. Stop it, these kids, I swear. Now I couldn't see the fox either. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty patterns, similar to stretched out nettle leaves, kept creeping up the glass. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. Get 0 viewers at 7boo.mom. Damn. That does sound... Can I donate? Like, do I need a credit card for that, or do you take debit? That does sound like an enticing offer. Didn't they just say the fight? I thought the parents were split. Okay, so they are both still here and they hate each other, I'm supposing. I'm assuming. Sorry, Ming. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. My mom would always ask jokingly, come on, shave it off, it stings. Oh. This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Yeah, okay, they fucking hate each other, okay. Oya always covered her ears whenever she hears something like, what's the point in all this? Through the walls. It's all for your sake, Dad would reply. For the sake of our family. Bro is so into the family drama that he just like, he gives us all the tea straight up. Ah yes, the average American household. Parents hate each other, kids oblivious, no food. I mean, they are eating. Oya is aware, but she doesn't want to be. He's very aware because he's like spilling all the tea. But yeah, true. Otherwise, I feel like this is just a very average household in general. I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. Just get a divorce. Divorce. I don't even want to finish it. Okay, yeah, he does not want his parents to split. He wants them both to be miserable. Just stay miserable for my sake. Bro, you could get 2 Christmas. You could get Christmas 2 times. It's not that bad. And I promise you, if they are not in each other's hair every time, they also are nicer to you because they are not constantly in a bad mood usually. Holy, my parents splitting was the best thing that happened to me back then. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into 2 different families. Yeah, okay, that sucks. That is a valid concern. Oh yeah. Anyways, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. You and your owl talk again. You said you believed me just yesterday. Has anybody seen my car keys? I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Right. Maybe you did, and maybe not. You're a grown man, a father of 2, and still... Karina, please, stop. Just let me get ready in peace. Your keys are in the basket, near the phone. Well, thank you very much. Anton, stop making a martyr out of yourself and finish eating already. And the owl? There was no owl. But there was one! It had giant glowing eyes. Oya sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers the size of an apple each. 1 apple big. Never experienced parents together. Damn, I mean, if they like being together, I feel like that is the win. But sometimes there's like, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And just forcing yourself to have that for the sake of your kids will know. At some point, probably, at least for me, it was like, your kids will know, and they will also be miserable, because usually kids, like, tend to, depends on the age, but like, tend to, like, look for everything that it is kind of like their fault. Like, first time being human, did I fuck up or something? And I don't know. I didn't have the guilt thing, just like my parents really didn't work, so I was just like kind of like glad to have them gone from each other, because I was like, I do not want to be in the middle of this shit cocktail. I am okay with like a decent drink each. We do not have to mix that together. Something bit me while I was reading this in my fucking elbow, and it itches. Last year you had Babai in your closet, and now this owl. But I saw it. Oya shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support. Have you thought about befriending it? You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice? Why is he so mad? What a... Don't bully our girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Oya pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the 2nd floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. I need that man out of this house ASAP. A minute had passed, and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed throughout the house. It was stored on incredibly worn-out cassette tapes, which Dad already had glued together once. Oh, cassette tapes, I love them. I always forgot to reverse them, and then my sister got mad at me. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship? Therapy. Sometimes. Other times just leave. Mom moved to the living room, and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Olya had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under her blanket. Can we just talk about how banger this frame looks? Like, this is such a cool artwork with the lashes and the expression and everything. Like, the hair. Like, I am very much into the art style right now. What the fuck? Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped to take her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. What the fuck? And then Olya said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of these ridiculous fears. Olya refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After tonight, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? Just last night I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect in my new school. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led into a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desk were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if someone completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat, black silhouettes. Their cruel glares, filled with sorry? I'm gonna reset that sentence. Huh? Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down, stomp me with their bloodied shoes? The damn school can burn for all I care. I just wish for anything to happen to it, doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who are just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name from me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some sort of monster. My gaze lit across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olya begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You got the wrong number," or "Anton is not around." Anton's not around. I imagined my future classmates lying in their beds just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I mean, my dad also used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet. My mom. Oh! Ah! The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with a neighbor's drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, it was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke me up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my deceased family, which their ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody, and then I realized I was, in fact, hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than the product of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing it there amidst the cold, snowy night, right? Open. Someone was dancing in the field. Black silhouettes I could barely make out with dark... This is very loud. Black silhouettes I could barely make out with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around, holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly, the music had stopped. The dancing shadows froze in place and, I could swear, pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. Hilfe. Are we about to get jump scared? It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch-black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back toward the bed. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with the blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remembered the funeral. My grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin-foot doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure, and now, lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same word. On the island of Buyan, underneath the blacksmith sun, in a sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. There lay lard and ashen hair, for the spawn from devil's lair to feast and always leave alone God's faithful servant named Anton. Evil leave this house must. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hangman. And then the night dosed me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone was scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently, as if he was looking for someone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness. And then the doorknob twitched. Slightly. Then it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob The doorknob tilted once more and then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of a doorway. Tony. Tony. It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with the rusty hinges. I was trembling and snared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Tony. Tony. My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, Tony, you asleep? My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief. Olya, I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Olya frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. It's there again, staring at me. Shoo her away, Tony, please. I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olya down. It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Olya sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself? I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you? Why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? That question took me by surprise. Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes while dancing furiously under the moon? The darkness was clinging to the window and it couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair. Tony, you coming? Yes, just a moment. I flinched so fucking hard, you dumb piece of shit. You whore. You whore, I just relaxed. Okay. He's fine. He's alive. We are alive. My heart just kind of jumped a little. You know, I was really ready for that jump scare. And then I was disarmed. And then I popped. That was perfect. They did that very well. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olya until all in the morning. Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled just from a silly thought that our morning guests could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet, under the table, behind the curtains where Olya always hides. Tony, come here! I felt the kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them toward the hallway. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars. Worse than bandits. Goated mom. At the moment though, she looked somewhat confused. Hello. The senior officer who wore grim reset. I take a sip and then I can talk again, I swear. Okay, we got my sip. The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded. A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name's Vauva. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The policeman held out a photograph to me. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. No, I haven't. Are you sure? Look closely. Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Well, maybe you've seen him from the window. That's right. Your windows look straight at the forest, don't they? The window. No, I haven't seen anything. I see. He sounded tired, but his eyes, his stare long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway, and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason. How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Bit by bit. It's just our little daughter misses the city a lot. Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Yes, everything is alright, thank you. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his grey eyes. My head started spinning. Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner. Now that I think about it, you just look like one of my nephews, little fella. He's a witty boy around your age, wears the same type of goggles. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll in police school when his family visited this summer. Wanted to help other people, just like me, see? I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me. You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home, stay away from trouble. The times have changed so much. My mom interjected in a cold voice. You don't say. Ah, well then. What grade are you in, Tony boy? 6th? Have you made any friends here so far? Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. Ah, then, I'll leave you my number, just in case. Call me if you have any new info. The policemen were gone along with the shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him, being all alone there. For some reason, I thought of the forest swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do and forget about me eventually? Mom, this Vova, did he go missing in our forest? Seems like it. Poor child. I looked out the window at the road. The police drove off toward the village. The police officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mystery there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people, and after a set of amazing adventures, bam, solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led to the forest. And then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Maybe I find that lost boy, and I get a reward. Olya will be so happy. And not only Olya, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they even forget about their quarrels for a little bit. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word. I fantasized about buying Olya a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think. Neighbors used to envy us. But nowadays, mom and dad barely had money to afford sweets, and dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olya. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues. I'm going outside. Yeah, right. You want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals? Or something even worse? Even worse echoed through the hallway. I won't go far. I stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I said? Or should I repeat myself? Better go pack your school bag or play with Olya. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. Oh, she's cleaning. She's angry cleaning. You don't want to piss the woman off. The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know the smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself on the freshly sharpened eggs. And Oya can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Babai is living there. I tried to help her fight her fear once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, dad's tools, and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me. And I like to hide in a closet and listen to Oya count outside. 1, 2, 3, better hide from me. And then drag her feet up the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the grand monster's den. Cute. It was difficult to lie to Mom, but there was no other way for me to run away from home. Mom, something's wrong with the TV. The picture is dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. Oh, you're killing me here. So, have you had enough of shooting the stupid ducks now? Told you the kinescope will go dim because of your console. Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh? Maybe it's just the settings. Please go see for yourself. Strange, it worked fine in the morning. Maybe the snowfall caused it. Mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Olya's room. Grandma kept ice cream for me and Olya there, but now I could only see meat bits for soup and clumped together pelmeni. I grew to hate them already. Okay. Okay, so I can expect a little bit more. Mom's peg top. A family relic. My mom played with it when she was little, then she gifted it to me. Olya was next in the succession line. The toy belonged to her now. She stared at the dancing spindle as if it could show her something, a fairy tale or maybe even our future. Now even my little sister was a bit too old for the old squeaky peg top. This cross had seen so many people come and go in this house. It was black as if it absorbed all human sin from the long years it was hanging under the ceiling. After Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm, but she cut herself with the cross a sharp corner and almost fell from the stepladder. Dad caught it a sign from above and ordered the cross to be left alone in its rightful place. My parents prohibit me from making long-distance calls, but from time to time I really want to hear my old friends. Sometimes I would just pick up the phone, listen to the low hum of the zoomer and the distant crackling, imagining the wind howling in the ice leading chords. The decrypt and stain-covered calendar was once my favorite form of entertainment in Grandma's house. I remember waking up and running to the kitchen so I could tear off yesterday's leaf first thing in the morning, as if the coming day would get lost in the taiga forest without my help. One day closer to New Year's, one day closer to Grandma's funeral. I haven't touched this calendar for years now, since the time they started writing dark and spooky death chants that only made me gloomy instead of funny proverbs and superstitions, to be exact. I grabbed the dusty calendar leaf with a caution and tore it off effortlessly. Sadly, the spooky description from my childhood were still there. 7 horses carry the log. If 7 can't carry, bring the 8th from a ferry. They will take it away and never come back. This is the fate the log cannot escape. I crumpled the grey leaf and threw it into the waste bin, hoping to get rid of the anxiousness that washed over me. It was spreading inside me like an ink stain on blotting paper. Immigram of Russia has declared a state of emergency due to adverse weather conditions. According to the weather forecast, the cyclone is moving towards the region. Expect heavy snowfall, blizzards, and snowdrifts on the road. Keep your eyes open and take care of yourself. Okay, dude, you should really not go outside. I took a peek at Mom's crossword. She would get very angry when someone gave her advice, so me and Dad faked knowing the answer and being about to reveal it all the time. I smiled at that fleeting thought. Vertical, 9 letters, the name of the Philistine deity that protected them from viper bites and had a nickname, the Lord of Flies. Second letter is E. Okay, so here's the number. Do I keep that or do I have to like write that down? 20337. I'm sure I have that like in an inventory somewhere now. I hope so. Just in case this is like relevant again. Okay, I can't go up. The thing is, I just heard the blizzard thing and I'm still going outside. I love kids. I opened the front gate and went into the field. Carefully, so my mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half of the distance towards the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there, distant ringing in my ears, distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me, and the barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent, so silent I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olya. The time reached its limit, a one-way trip that ended at the forest piney stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Oya turned to stone, listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Our apartment became numb a couple of days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together, almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Oya present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke up and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who, though? from the people with dead cold eyes who sometimes visited us in our previous home. The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything. And somewhere far away, a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. There were only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under snow like fat snakes, rotten leaves and coniferous needles froze into the ice. Ugh. Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. There's like a glove hanging here. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow, and when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. He was also always anxious with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will the mitten help them find the lost boy? Bova! I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. Bova! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Bova! Resounded closer to me. Someone was standing there behind the trees, hiding. Bova! I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about that figure. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally toward the ground. Its blackness. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. What the fuck? A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away for just a moment, but when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. So it wasn't my imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. I don't want this. I don't want this. My muscles were tightly sprung, my heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, and I'd sprint. But nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. Oh shit, okay. Run away or take. Okay, I'm saying technically run away, because usually cowards live longer. On the other side, we already came this far, might as well die. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. By the way, if you find things like this in the forest, never take them with you. This boy had like a grandma that was talking about chants and stuff like that. Yeah, because we are living in this universe, you never take something from the forest with you. Okay? Good. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Vova! We are dead. A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. Okay, run away. At this point, run away. He said any flinch and I turn and I run. I stepped toward the bristly trees and tried to claim my find. Why? It didn't budge. I pulled harder, the branch cracked and the mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. All too heavy, wet. I squeezed it without thinking and something dark split from it, forming a tiny string between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose up from the snow pile. Yeah, he's dead. I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red, why would you free? I need that boy to run. You know that boy said, okay, I'm gonna run. I'm saying, hey, take this because I'm still thinking he's gonna run if like something approaches. Nope. He's letting that fucking thing have the zoomies of his life and then he's trapped. Red. The sound of cracking branches invaded the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away, thank you. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down, crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket, I'll be gone, forever. But there was one more voice, probably one of reason. It gave me strength, it spurred me on. You can do it, do not stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air, they sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing, a hoot, a wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bush, from the twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry, run, don't look back. It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became vicious like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone, my boots slipped out of the hole and my soles were on a hard surface again. I reached the clear path with one jump and from there ran to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. That house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks, as if a dog was striking the wood with its paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and it obediently gave way. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. What exactly didn't you understand when I told you to never slam the door? I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone and the breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from Mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with it the last bit of strength I had left in my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with snow. Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you too? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like I was when I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel, her voice rang out. Your dad can't find his cigarettes. Be honest. Did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret? There was someone chasing me. I thought I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up my eyes. Mom leaned toward me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant and she covered her mouth with her hands. Look, over there, at the fence. My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I've heard something scratch at the door, just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her finger and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window, facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs. Just a small pack of strays with no name and owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest. Oh boy, were you scared of them? I think they'd rather be scared of you, Antoine. Mother? Those are still dogs and they don't really look like small ones. They could still rip your son apart. Like, he's not that tall. He's 3 apples tall. They were chasing me. Like a bunny. And what if they're rabbit? The smile had slowly disappeared from my mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them. What if they attack Olya? Mom? I wish your dad could just shoot them all. Mom, look, they're alive. Huh? What? Are they your friend or your foe after all? Make up your mind. You're not a little kid anymore. Mom sighed in annoyance, and I felt so bitter that I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze on the cobweb-ridden corner. Well, some detective I am. Go play with the feral dog, son. It's better than that Nintendo. I mean, technically she told him to stay inside. But I just think it's crazy that he comes back in and like his pants are wet from the snow and everything, and he's like borderline having a panic attack or something, and she's just like making fun of him because, look, those are just cute little strays, and they are like, I'm assuming at least knee high or like bigger than that to her. So yeah, they could rip up your, I'm assuming like 11-year-old son or something. Like, now, I am also like scared of random dogs. Sure, they might not bite, and sure, they might be more scared of me than I am of them, but they also can like rip out my throat with their teeth, and I cannot do that to them. So, yeah. Makes you think. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And what for? What use do I have for this mitten? Oh, of course! A dark and sticky mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound on my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom. Mom, look, this is Vova's mitten. That boy the police were asking about in the morning. It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I can show where. Let's call the police right away, like the officer had told us to. Mom, look! Ew! A shadow of doubt slowly crept onto my mom's contorted face, as if she was trying to remember something distant, like someone tries to remember their dream, but the image slipped away. Stop this moment. Olya will go insane if she hears you. She already has trouble sleeping and whines all the time, and you joke around like this. At that moment, I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment. Come here, my boy who cried wolf. Oh, and don't just stand there. Come take your pills. A golden-colored pill reminiscent of a dead wasp fell onto my palm. I already took one during breakfast. Don't talk over me. I told you to stay home, and Dad would have given you a good whipping for that. Oh, great. Well, you can just try hard, bro. I don't think I can I don't think I'm made for that, I'm gonna be honest with you. Come on, take it, or you won't be able to sleep at night, and you have school tomorrow. So I had to swallow down the bitter medication, drinking it down with similarly awful water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't oversmitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten after all. Just like the forest monsters. And Oya's owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate effect, or my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawny indifference along with it. Anton, you done? See, you can do it when you try. Take off your coat. Are you asleep? No, Mom, I was just thinking. What about, I wonder? It's just something silly. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son and not some doppelganger that came from the forest. Is everything alright? You had the exact same expression when the policeman asked you about the window. I'm alright, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh. Fine. It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt different, dimmer and yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Oya was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stepped before the sink and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Then I went upstairs. Jafar's and Iago's voices died down. I walked past Oya's bedroom and slipped into my own. My Triceratops figurine. I know about all sorts of dinosaurs. Velociraptors, Afrorenaptors, Hypsilophodons. I'm not a native, don't make me say these words, bro. I don't want to sound like a dinosaur noob. I remember going through the movies to see Jurassic Park back when I still lived in the city and taking pictures with the T-Rex in the hall. It turned its head and roared. It was awesome. And next to it was a Robotech transformer. I love this cartoon. When a jet fighter speeds up into the intro among the sounds of blaster fire, you know your next 20 minutes will surely be amazing. Centrali Space Station is captured. Rick, get ready for battle. I've dreamt of becoming an artist since my dad bought me my first comic book. Fly magazine was the coolest. I especially liked the big space-related edition with alien monsters and that funny episode about a gendarme. Oh! Okay, so we have like a small glossary here for these terms. Okay, that is cool. I think I understand most of them, but it's nice to have the option, I think. I started drawing all kinds of stuff since that day, and I seem to be getting pretty good at it. One of my letters even got published in Fly once. Maybe someday they'll let me publish my comic. That's cute. Chase your dreams. Monsters, Ghosts, UFOs. The Encyclopedia of Paranormal Phenomenon von Roseman Publishing. I've learned about the Loch Ness Monster, Medusa Gorgon, and Bigfoot from there. Oya is always scared of the book. She could barely handle sifting through the monster and alien sections with me, but the middle part where they talked about ghosts really freaked her out. I even remember hunting ghosts after I'd read that book. I measured the distance between items on my table every evening and checked if they moved due to some supernatural force come in the morning. They didn't. But to be honest, what was I expecting? To meet Casper the Ghost? Oddly specific line. I'm seeing feet there. I think Olya's hiding here. forest didn't look as grim during the day. Entangled tree branches in the distance and a snowy field between our house and the forest brought sleepiness to my eyes, but sometimes I would still catch myself looking at the window at the icy tree tops instead of doing my homework. Okay, apparently we're not supposed to see her, but there are feet here. Feet detected. One of those, that goth cat, yeah. Very fitting. Okay, I can read, I swear. One of the drawers was empty. I hid the policeman's phone number along with the mitten there. This simple action drained the last bit of strength for me. I sat on the bed, and only then I noticed there was someone behind the curtains. My tired hands dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to medication I took or the stress I underwent, the room began to contort as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The room's corners bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the windowsill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visitor. Just like a servant of sorts. Olya? Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my dried up lips. Yeah, Olya, it's so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached toward the curtains. Badoom, badoom, beat my heart, controlled by medication. The wind sang in the field with a chorus of voices. For a second, I wanted to return to the bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtains, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They're looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains. Gotcha! I knew it was you from the beginning. A blindingly bright halo lit up above Olya's head with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not some flashlight. But I brought her to the window one day and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a child woven from light. I saw everything. Oh, really? What did you hide? She was just like my mom when she was little, before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched into her commanding tone of voice. It's nothing, just... Olya ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked, You stole something and hid it in there? Are you a thief? What? Don't be stupid. I didn't steal anything. A clear image came to mind, that mitten hanging from a tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the tilted figure standing behind the black trees. Olya could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted. Then show me! Swear that you won't tell anyone. Then I'll show you. Olya wore a plotting smile. I swear on Mom's heart. An oath she heard in one of the movies about the pioneers we've watched. Don't say things like that. Olya nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and Olya leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter. Is this someone's mitten? She said this if she couldn't understand what she saw. A certain boy lost it and got lost himself. Now you do understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander into the forest, right? He must be really cold out there. Will they find him? They will. The police are going house to house, showing his photo to everybody. Olya traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window. And why are they going to houses and not the forest? Are they scared? The question caught me off guard. The police aren't scared of anything. Yeah, right, flashed in my clouded mind. Did I really check every nook and cranny where darkness cold and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how did they miss the mitten? Or did it appear later for me? I changed the topic, as if trying to get Oya as far away as possible from the forest thicket. We may get a reward if I go and find this boy myself. A lot of stuff, like in Field of Wonders. Sounds cool, right? Oya wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her. What if the owl got him? Nonsense. An owl won't be able to lift a human. But you know what? I was picking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my overexerted brain. Stay away from the forest. I think it's how should I put it? It's cursed or something. Just like in a fairy tale? No, not like that. More like in that spooky tape Mom and Dad are hiding from us. Oya shivered and stole a glance at the window. I saw you running away. Someone was chasing you? No, it's just I was hurrying back home so Mom won't be worried. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind and her small fire would be gone. You're lucky. Mom won't even let me go outside. I'm like a princess in a tower. Can't go anywhere. I'll die of boredom here. You're wrong. No one has ever died of boredom. And you have me and your cartoons, and Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon. You know what I would wish for on my next birthday? I'd wish for Mom and Dad to turn into the children so we could play together like we used to. Yeah, and if you'd make them small as bugs, we could put them in a little box. Olya giggled and tugged at my sleeve. Tony, let's go watch Aladdin. Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous apathy. I'm too tired. I don't want to. Come on. It's so boring alone and Mom is always busy. We can pick out a cartoon you haven't seen before. I know all of our tapes by heart at this point. Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan. We remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? And so much happens after that. Let's go. Let's go. Maybe a bit later. Should I tell you how it ends? Let's leave that for tomorrow. I won't tell you tomorrow. I know. Let's play hide and seek. No, Olya. Then draw me a dino. Olya, please. Draw it. Draw it. Will you leave me alone already? I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken aback. I had never screamed at my little sister like that. Olya stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Olya from crying. Alright, you win. Let's just go watch cartoons for a bit. I don't wanna. I came up to her, put my hand on her soft head. Let's go. Let's go watch Peter Pan. Ooh, you'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless. I promise I won't. And I'll draw you a full Triceratops. I'm sorry, Okay, dino lore here. I played Ark with my boyfriend a couple years back, and at some point I thought it was funny to always say Triceratops, so like I couldn't pronounce it right. Yeah, I kind of like trained myself to not pronounce it properly anymore, so if you're wondering why I'm struggling so badly with the word, it's because my brain has overwritten that with a stupid joke. I am so sorry, I'm trying to log in. And I draw you a full Triceratops later. Hooray! Triceratops. Well, close enough. Okay, he wouldn't be mad at me. He would. Okay, close enough. Oya rubbed her eyes with the sleeve of her pajamas, and a shining smile returned to her face. I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread, and you rewind the tape. The bread is fresh, just how you like it. Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk, or you'll be yelled at again. Wanna bet I won't spill it? The tape is somewhere in the nightstand. Look for it. Oya disappeared into the doorway, and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. Oya's countless toys. An old teddy bear is the main attraction here. Oya doesn't sleep without it, and she digs her nose into his fur when she sleeps. A piggy bank. Olya's saving money for a real puppy because Dad said that taking care of it will take a lot of money. Aww. The scary window where Olya sees that accursed owl every night, lurking in the dark. Olya keeps curtains open during the day, but as soon as the twilight comes, she shuts them tight so she wouldn't see the pair of hungry eyes outside. The old photo on TV was gathering dust in the corner. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. The tube warmed up and familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. I almost reached out to turn on the VCR when the noise calmed down and a blurry image appeared for a moment. It was a dark tiger forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. That is not creepy. The sound design is not creepy as fuck right now. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few moments later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did I catch some rogue signal? Local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently I used to always catch a Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna? What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Olya had asked me to find the tape. I wouldn't be nice to disappoint her. But in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do all of it. Okay, so either I'm searching for the tape or I'm trying to find the channel again. I'm gonna search for the tape. We already almost made her cry. We are playing the don't hate yourself route. I sifted through the shelves full of dolls and blue hippos from Kinder Surprise. I found the tape I needed thanks to its shabby spine. I got the black rectangle from its box. The tape inside it rustled while rewinding to beginning. The rustle was lulling me to sleep. Drowsiness attacked me while I was squatting before the TV. Images whirled in my head, me and Olya flying above the forest, tumbling in the soft clouds. My little sister lets laughing, but her smile becomes more and more forced with every passing second. I noticed that the clouds underneath us part, bearing the bristly pine tops. Swampy darkness slurped among the trees. The wings are no longer able to hold us and Olya. You haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. I rubbed my eyes. No, come, sit. Mom and Dad are arguing again. They are going through rough times. Rough times are lame. Beyond the screen, Wendy was hiding Peter Pan's shadow into the dresser. Olya was entertained by the cartoonish dog Nana. Maybe Mom and Dad will buy us a dog too. Yeah, right. I have my own dog and an elephant, and a cat, and a parrot. Oya smeared a slice of bread with a thick layer of condensed milk and handed it to me. That is so tasty. I'm craving that right now. Like, I had that a lot when I was visiting my grandma, and I'm craving this right now. Holy shit. Have you lost all of your baby teeth? Obviously. Olya frowned, deep in thought. Peter Pan has baby teeth. What if they won't let you go to his land with adult teeth? We'll think of something. We'll ask Dad to alter your age in the passport. And why would Dad forge documents? Olya took a bite from the sandwich and started talking with her mouth full. He will. He heard Mom that he did before. You'll grow ears as big as Dumbo's. Olya got worried and touched her ear. I smiled to myself. My little sister was silent now. She just devoured bread, watching the adventures of Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, and James Hook. As if she got sucked into the fairy tale Neverland. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in a land where no one ages, where no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sounds of broken plates at night. It felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality. Tony! Shut the curtains, fast! Why? No one's watching you. It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes. I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. I did my best not to look outside, towards the treetops, towards the tiger forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from shadows of branches scraping the snow. Tony, Mom thinks I made you all up. And Dad too. Thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. But the owl exists. Honestly it does. You do believe me, right? That it comes every night and I swiftly grabbed Oya's hand and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities? Yes, I believe you, alright? Just don't nag our parents about it anymore. They're already dealing with a lot, so they just get mad at you. Come and tell me if anything happens. And don't look out the window. But it wants me to look. Doesn't matter. Act like it doesn't exist and never existed. Like it's made up. Just like Mom and Dad says. It'll get tired of waiting and fly away. It was madness, but after everything that's happened recently, I was more and more inclined to believe Olya's owl existed. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile and Captain Pan was headed to London on a gilded sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Olya's eyelids had dropped. She started snoring lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. I stood up and left Olya's room. I was looking out the window, studying the field, when Mom peeked into my room. Enough playing around. It's your first day at school tomorrow. Go to bed. You should sleep properly. You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Adults think everything is so simple. As if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just part of growing up and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields, branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into a slumber. Thank you for playing a complete episode of Tiny Bunny. Did you enjoy it? Do you want to know what happened next? We're already working hard on the continuity of the story. Okay, so the prologue is also like the first episode. Okay, that is cool. Okay. Honestly, I like that a whole lot more than at the Amsterdam 1666 game. I like that a whole lot more. I really like the art style. I like the way it's written. I know I sometimes stumble like across the sentences because I'm like I'm not reading and then reading again. I'm like just reading that piece by piece and I'm talking during it. So my thoughts sometimes stumble into the sentences and mess me up. Which I would say I'm a decent reader, but it gets to a point. So forgive me for that. But I really enjoyed the way it's written. I enjoyed that one very well placed, for me, very well placed jump scare. I do really enjoy the art style. Holy shit. Honestly, I don't know how long we were sitting in this. Because I think like the Amsterdam thing was like roughly an hour. So this was about the same time, if not, I felt like it was longer, but in a good way. So, I'm not sure if that's like a game we can marathon through because I don't know how long it is. Okay. Yeah, the prologue is how long to beat says 1 hour. I think we took a little bit more, but that was like on me with stumbling. And the entire game is around 10 hours. I think we will be playing the entire game at some point because the prologue was really, really, really good. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, the game isn't too expensive either, so I'm down for this. And there are soundtracks to buy, so um call me stoked. I will get that and we will be playing that at some point because I really like the art direction, I like the setting, I like how the writing feels, I like the character dynamics. Holy shit, I really enjoyed that. But I really like these heavy reading types of games because it's like a little bit more interactive than reading a book because you have the visuals and you have like sound design going on. But I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. I am very like positively. I don't want to say surprised because I already like thought it was gonna be banger because I saw the trailer and was like, oh yeah, this looks right up my alley. But I also thought that about the Amsterdam game and eh. So the Amsterdam underperformed from what I thought. Like first, what I thought aside from like reviews that I saw, and this overperformed from what I thought it would be. So yeah, we are in a great middle again, I would say.